Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, Technical Trader. It's Tuesday night, April the 10th. Market had a rough day today. The indices took a hit, and as you can see when I show you the following chart, SP 500, Standard & Poor's 500, broke a key level today, and when it broke down through actually it broke yesterday. Today it broke the 50-period moving average, and that's the first time we've been below the 50 since December, and really, but it's the first time we've been below both the trend line and the moving average since December. So at this point, there's problems in the market, that's for sure. It looks like we're headed down towards a test potentially of the 1345 area, perhaps 1350. And if we break that, then we're looking at 1295 range. So trouble ahead, perhaps we'll just have to see what develops. But today we're going to go over the shorts and the ultra shorts. The EDZ, and this is alphabetical, no particular order, which we follow, and that is the emerging market triple bear. That's daily emerging markets triple bear. You can see the major top was recorded on the reversal day when it was near 38 back in October. I think it's actually higher than that. Hang on. Yeah. This thing was way up about 35, excuse me, back in October. Did I say 38 maybe? Yeah, 37.92. So it came down, bounced, came down again, bounced. And as you can see, it formed a large falling wedge. But the key was this declining tops line, because that also what represented near where the 50-day moving average was. But look what happened here. In February, March, it came down, made lower lows, bounced, retested, bounced, retested. But in the process of doing this, it formed a base. The moving averages for the 10 and 21-day moving average, green and white, flattened out and began to curl up. The 50-day moving average took longer to do that. But if we go in closely, you'll see that all three moving averages in here. Now at this point, we got a pop from about the 1194 range up to 1426 just in the last few days, and today's action moving from 1339 to 1426, cleanly broken out across the first line of resistance, but back above all the moving averages. So the base has been completed. The volume was 4 million shares. That was the heaviest volume going back to December. So it's looking like that with the ultra short starting to surge and break out, and the market rolling over and taking out support, we could be in some dire straits here market-wise. So I encourage everybody to continue to stay defensive. I told you in the last 2-3 weeks that we were due for a cycle top around April 3rd. We got that, and it's not going to be over in just a few days. It doesn't appear that way. Up next is the FAZ. Now this hasn't done as well, but the major declining tops line has been broken. And you can see that the spike high, which was 81 and change, resulted in a pullback which lost 3/4 of its value down into the $20 range. Now, over the last couple of weeks, it's kind of bounced and tested and bounced and tested. Yesterday, popped and broke out above the declining tops line and 21-day moving average, while the 10 days actually turned back up. Now, the 50s up here were price resistances from this really bad day a few weeks ago. However, it has not broken down above that yet, and that area comes in around 24.30, something of that nature. So if we get a follow-through 24.30 tomorrow, look for a move towards 27. So that is what my near-term projection is, and an intermediate-term projection could be as high as mid-30s. The TVIX, well, that's a whole different ballgame, because this stock got hammered here for technical reasons, and I'm not talking about chart reasons. I'm talking about something having to do with the company and the amount of shares outstanding, and the fact that it was put on, it was halted, redemptions were halted, or something like that. I forgot what it was, but it doesn't matter. The bottom line is we had a 3-day crush to just under 6. It then formed a coil over 2 weeks, popped yesterday, and then moved up 14.4% today. As volume increased to 22 million, the best in about 8 or 9 days, 2 weeks. So again, this has reached up and filled the gap, but it's not gotten through even a 21-day moving average. So more work to do, but I can project the possibility of a 12-13 zone could occur, another strong surge if this market rolls over hard. And the reason for this surge today was a big increase in the VIX, the VIX index. Up next, the TZA, which is acting great, especially the last week. In 5 days from 17 to nearly 21. You can see that this major top occurred. A big reversal day in October as well, when it traded up around 63 and 87, kind of all the way down under 17. That is large falling channel or wedge, and finally moved back up above the moving average this week, taking out the 10, 21, and 50-day moving averages, as well as the first price resistance in this zone, only to test up near this little rally high here. Came in at about 21.35. Today's high 20.88. So there's going to be some resistance at 21.35, but should it blow through there, I can see this getting up towards 26.7 zone, maybe even low 30s on a secondary basis. And lastly, a new one I'm going to introduce, UVXY. Volume has become tremendous in the last several weeks, so I wanted to add this in because all the way down from the IPO price when it was trading at 244, the stock dropped all the way down to it dropped down to 1260. Can you believe that one? 244 to 1260 in about 6 months. However, the snapback's been tremendous. It's moved from 1260 to 21 in about 2 weeks. And more importantly, you can see that volume has really started to accumulate in the last 5 days as technicals increase as well. So this one is at near the declining tops line. It may have some testing to do up and out around the 22 range. Secondary target up in the high 20s. So keep an eye on this one. This could be interesting. Now let's go to the box of shorts. A lot of them to cover. Starting off with Alaska Airlines. Been talking about this big wedge forming in Alaska. And after the recent run-up and the rising channel here was broken, Alaska came down with a thrust here. And then had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave little move that formed a large multi-week bear flag in my opinion. Today, cracking $1 or 2.8% doesn't sound like a lot, and volume was about 1 million shares, 1.1 million. But more importantly, it may have completed the pattern, and if we get a break below 33.5, we could see this coming down towards 30.31. APAG is getting just crushed. As you can see, the rollover here, then another bear flag, which we pointed out for weeks developing, finally cracked here 4 days ago, and look at this drop from 66 down to 50 in a matter of a week. Now it's oversold certainly, but any rally back up to resistance, we could see lower levels. APEI broke this top with a thrust here, moved back up, and a wedge formed that failed to get back up to resistance, then rolled over, spiked up, and then reversed hard here, which led to this down move. I'm looking for lower levels under 35, maybe even as low as the low 30s. CRR has been a negative recommendation of ours since it cracked here, snapped back, made lower lows, double bottomed, and then came back up to the channel top. But that twice failed, and we appear to be rolling over, as this entire pattern may be nothing more than a bear flag type, with a retest coming up around 85 and perhaps a collapse down into the low 70s. CSH completed a top here, formed a wedge, broke down hard, snapped back in a large 2-month rising wedge, which failed right at the channel top or thereabout, and now it's rolled over again. As you can see, this pattern down in here indicates a crack of support, both the trend line and lateral price support. Now, if we move it down to here, you'll see there's some additional support right at today's low. One of the reasons why I closed off the low, perhaps. But any further movement here, we can see 42, maybe even high 30s on this one. Deckers has been a favorite short of ours since it cracked here and formed this little wedge here. Then formed a large 2-month wedge before it really fell apart. And now it's in a sliding channel, unable to make any headway. And apparently at this point, we may be seeing a stock that's going to take it even lower. 54 is my target, followed by something maybe in the mid to high 40s if the market gets real ugly. Deckers, one of our other favorites, looking very good here. As you can see, the stock today hit the bottom of a falling wedge and retested the October low. So there may be some support in this zone, but if should it collapse, we could see something near 50, 52. That's GDI. Golar LNG, well, certainly looks like a top tier. Came down to support, bounced to resistance, and came out hard today. 216 or 5.5%, right on support, and should have cracked here. Look for a move down towards 33, 34. Not looking good. GNI, after this big crack, I showed you this wedge, indicated it should roll over. It's gone from 102 down to 90 just in the last couple weeks. But more importantly, it cracked this line right here. If that continues, we may see the stock down towards 84. High tech, massive topping formation. The trend line was broken here. It rallied back to it, failed. It rolled over and cracked support today, dropping $1.74, 5%. Right on support. If that breaks, look for a move down towards 28, 8.5. HMIN, this wedge broke today as the stock dropped $1.5, 4%. If it breaks down any lower than today's low, 24.90, we can see this fall away down towards 21.5. HP, which we pointed out last week, after it cracked here, that was Charlie's idea. It bounced, came down, and today's retested this low. Could come down and see 49.5 short term. And if it holds there, that's great. But if it doesn't, it could just fall away towards 43. NFX, after coming down hard in July, August, September last year, it bounced, came down a couple times and bounced in here. But today has cracked that line by dropping $1.13 or 3.3%. At this point, looking at the longer term chart, we may very well get this stock to fall into a channel bottom near, let's call it 29. OPNT apparently cracked today. This is a big support level, and also a wedge that it formed. Yesterday it showed signs of breaking, and today it cracked $1.25 or 4.5%. Near the channel bottom, could bounce, but I'm looking for lower levels in the low, maybe 23, 24 zone. Pitney Bowes, PBI, that's been in a bear channel for I don't know how long now. Let's see, a year. And at this point, the wedge here, which broke from the bear flag, broke key support. Bottom of the channel says this could be a $14 stock or less. Rovi, another bearish chart, which after forming a wedge here, broke today, losing $1.33 or 4.2%. Look for a test of 28 quickly, and beneath that, a test of the lows around 22.3 zone. Schulman cracked. I put that on my list this weekend, and it's been falling through the downside. We're at support here. If we crack this zone, watch for a move down towards 20. SJI, South Jersey Industries, which broke key support here, formed a falling wedge or flag, broke to the downside of that flag to test key support today at this level. If it doesn't hold here, look for a test of the lows near 43. UPL, Ultra Petroleum, after showing you a big bear wedge here, it broke down and bounced around, making lower lows until finally it rolled over in the last week and a half. You can see where that's headed, 17. USHS, which I pointed out last week, after cracking formed a bear wedge, has rolled over from 12 to 8.5 and is right now in the distinctly down channel. Although it is near the bottom of the channel, we may see some kind of bounce or snapback, but this is in a dire straits downtrend. WebMed showing wedge after flag, continues to get downside pressure. Only lost 23 cents or 1% today, but it looks like it may be headed towards 1920 range. WES, Charlie pointed this one out today. It broke a key rising channel over the last several months. It came down hard today to break this support level. The trend line's already been broken. We're testing the 50 here. If that gets broken, watch for a move down towards 38. Lastly today, World Acceptance cracked here and it's been sliding ever since. Bottom of that channel says 55.6 zone and maybe even 54 short term. That's it for tonight. Some ugly stuff. Watch out below. Bye-bye.